Okay, I know this is in a newsletter, and that's a newsletter's usually words, but we're visual people, so I thought I would, as well as just sort of writing down, I'd also do a little video and show you and demonstrate. We've been in lockdown for quite a while, and even then, when we're not in lockdown, my creativity comes in cycles. Sometimes I'm really inspired and want to get on and create lots of work, and other times it's, well, the muse has gone for a bit of a walkabout. And the danger there is that if I don't come and do something creative every day, time goes on, and then you get into this vicious circle of that little voice in the back of your head saying, what if you can't paint again? What if you'll never be able to do it again? So I do like to come and sort of potter in my studio, and Sketchbooks is one place that I like to potter, and I obviously have a variety. This one, not quite full, but you know, we all do it. We all go to galleries, galleries and places, and we pick up or buy postcards, or we see something that inspires us. Look, these were artist Carol Baker postcards. I cut these out of magazines. This was just an image in a newspaper. These were some cards, obviously some postcards when I went to galleries. Obviously out of a paper, out of a magazine. I think this was Kiffin Williams. This was something, I think there we'd actually been to a gallery in Holt in Norfolk, and I'd seen this artist's work that I really liked, Sophie Knight. So obviously looked her up on the internet. It's a card, but I liked the image, I liked the colours and the composition, this one, so I obviously stuck that in. Favourite Turner, obviously Van Gogh. Obviously had another visit to galleries. You know, I went to Copenhagen. Beautiful, those artists, the golden age sort of period, the beautiful light. Just images out of the paper, you know, where we've been, that sort of thing, and it keeps them all together. And when I look at it, it's, you know, it takes me on a little journey all by itself. So that's one sort of sketchbook that's quite just a gentle way of sitting there doing something creative, getting inspired by images and colours and things that you've seen. This is the sketchbook that I would take out into the landscape, and it is always good just to have a flick through, you know, see if there's anything there that takes your fancy, that you want to think, oh, I could perhaps work on that a little bit more, you know. Experiment a little bit. This is where I first started doing a bit of sort of collage with the text. So, you know, that's a doodly sketchbook. Obviously you follow me quite regularly, so you'll know I do my collage sketchbooks. Slightly anal with the labels, just senior moment, I might forget what they are. Again, I always say this is a gentle way to start my creativity. Plus, I you know, I find it quite meditative, going through newspapers, magazine cuttings, bits and bric-a-brac, ephemera. You know, all that sort of inspires me as well. You know, old bits of paintings that didn't work, but just sorting through them as well, I just find it inspiring. But there's no pressure on it, you know. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You're just experimenting, but there's no pressure. It's not like I'm setting to thinking, oh, I'm going to create a masterpiece. So there's just like a little gentle collage sketchbook. I think this one you've seen before. It's where all the work that doesn't make the grade, I sort through it. And if I see a composition that I like, or a brush stroke, or sort of a mark that I like, this sweep there, the colour combination, as I've said, lines, textures. Sometimes I just rip them up and randomly tear things into them, and sometimes when I tear them up I turn them the wrong way round, so I can't see, so I'm not tempted to tear in a particular way. I can't see the image, so it is just totally random, and then you turn them back over and see if I can arrange them into somehow on the paper that appeals to me. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And the stuff that it doesn't make it in here ends up in the collage drawer, and will probably be ripped up even further and end up in the collage book. So that's that one. I also have, again, it's just a little line sketchbook that I sometimes sit with at night in the lounge with a pencil. We've got some plants in the corner, so I was doing a sort of contour drawing here, not taking the pencil off, but it's just, it gets you back into the habit of looking, of noticing, and at the end of it you feel like you've done something creative. Ink and wash, onion, you know, who's not got some onions in? Orchid plant that I drew 3 times. It's the same plant, but you know, you don't have to have loads of orchid plants. You can just use one and turn it round. Same with flowers. The mother-in-law's tongue with drawing with my non-dominant hand. And then, like, this was a dried bunch of, I've got some flowers in the vase in the corner of the studio that was, I picked them when we were up in the Yorkshire Dales. I brought them home and dried them, and that's what I just drew there. Again, it's no pressure. Just gets you back into that habit. You know, you feel as if you're doing something creative, but with no sort of stress. So that's the line sketchbook. I've got this one. Oh, slipping here. I need to get a label. If you follow me obviously regularly, you'll know that acrylic paints I'm not that confident with. I will dabble every now and again. Yep, obviously I need to get over this thing about, you know, not being happy with the first page. I don't know why I've not worked on them pages. I have no idea. But then in here I just experiment. This is my acrylic experiment book. This is Indian ink with acrylic. And here I was just trying to do the colour combinations. And again here the sweep of the ink against the acrylic paint. This I think I applied with the old store card. And then the paint I was applying with this. And I was thinking of that sort of walking along the beach, windswept, seas swirling around, etc, etc. Again, ink and acrylic paint. I was trying to mix some paint up to get this sort of taupe colour. Here, slightly different palette. This is the acrylic ink, acrylic paints, and then there was some Indian ink that I applied with one of these old, you know, coffee stirrers you get out of cafes. Slightly more minimalistic approach, different palette. I don't know. It's just a place where I dabble with acrylics. Keeps it all together, and I can have a quick flick through if I find something that I like. And then lastly I have black and white. Well, it sort of does what it says on the tin. This is I don't know whose sketchbook this is. It's obviously the paper's not that great, so and it's just purely black and white. It's a great way of taking the stress out of choosing what colours you're going to use. You know, a great way to get your eye in for tonal work, tonal values. Highlighting what's perhaps good and what's not. This is mainly charcoal, and then this art graph, like a compressed pigment, comes in like a tailor's chalk shape with sort of an edge, so you can either use it on its edge or as a broad sweep. And the interesting thing about this is that it is water soluble, so you can put it on dry and then obviously add water and it goes much darker. But these are just, I was just playing around with this. I think I'd only just got this and I've been playing around with it to see what sort of effects and techniques and things you can do with it. As you can see, the paper is not that great, but you know, sometimes you get some interesting marks and textures come through. Like I say, it's just doodles. They're just imaginary landscapes. Sometimes I've used pencil, charcoal, the art graph. I think there's some Indian ink, a bit of splatter. Who doesn't like a bit of splatter? You know, simple little things, nothing too focused, nothing with putting too much pressure on myself. You know, I think I was imagining like mountains and hilltops and obviously stormy skies sort of thing. Some of them work, some of them are rubbish, but again, it's just a different way of experimenting, a different side to the creativity, a different sort of way of trying to get back into it. So yeah, I hope you found that helpful and given you some ideas as to little things that perhaps you could have a go at. And if you do have a go at them, let me know. Thanks.